What's wrong with your kid? A mother with an unruly child poses this question to Lauren Wright as she sits in the waiting room of Dr. Asha Parekh, a child psychologist who is interviewing Oliver, her 4-year-old son, behind a closed door. This is the opening line of my latest novel, The Boy in the Mirror, a mystery with a paranormal aspect. Lauren explains to the nosy woman there's nothing wrong with Ollie, but the woman continues to probe. Exasperated, Lauren insists her child simply has an overactive imagination. As she waits, her anxiety increases. This is her third visit, and the Indian psychologist has given her no information about her son's condition. She's finally admitted to the inner sanctum, and the psychologist asks her to repeat why she brought Ollie to her. He has an overactive imagination. He has this friend, Freddie. All kids have imaginary friends, I suppose, but he speaks to him as though he's there. Freddie doesn't like this, he says when I serve him something new, but I'll try it. Whenever something frightens his imaginary friend, which happens frequently, Ollie says soothing words to comfort him. It's rather sweet, but I again struggle to express myself. It's too realistic. Ollie seems unable to distinguish between real and make-believe. Go on, she says when I falter. He has an imaginary family. My voice shakes as I get to the core of what's brought me here. He used to say he wanted his real mother. At first I laughed it off. Kids say strange things, right? But he hasn't dropped it. He's perceptive and seems to sense how that hurts me. So he now refers to them as his old family. That's what we used to do, he'll say when he spots something familiar to him. He'll spin stories about visiting a dairy farm, something we've never done. When he spots a flock of sheep, he says they used to graze around the White House. That's what he calls it, the White House, as though it's a real place. Before I can mention his irrational fear of water, she stops me, leaning forward and holding out her hand as though I should grasp it. Mrs. Wright, please listen to me. You said as though it's a real place. I'm convinced it is. I lean back, suspecting I look as incredulous as I feel. What do you mean? She turns from me and looks out her window toward a patch of blue sky, as though she observes something I cannot. I've never encountered a case like this in my practice, but I've read about them. They are not uncommon in my culture, but almost unknown in yours. She leans across the table as though sharing a confidence. What you consider Oliver's flights of imagination are memories. I'm not sure what you're talking about. This is a mild way of putting it. I have no idea what she's saying. Have you ever heard of the transmigration of souls? No, she says, reading my face. You wouldn't have. Your son has memories that were gathered by a child who has since passed away. When he died, his soul transferred to your son. He had a family, and Oliver recalls them vividly. Freddie, his childhood friend, is a real person, or perhaps was. Lauren responds in disbelief, and Dr. Parekh does not try to convince her. I ask two things of you. First, keep an open mind. Do some research and consider the possibility. Second, and this is more important, listen to your son. Her tone shifts. When he tells you one of his stories, how do you react? I pause, thinking about it. I don't challenge him, if that's what you mean. I just say, okay, and move on. I let him live in his little world. His father is another matter, but I don't inject Chris into the conversation. Instead, show some interest. Ask him questions. Say, tell me more. That's all I've done for the past 3 sessions. I've listened to him. He tells a fascinating story, and I confess I don't really know what to make of it. I only have my conclusions based on years of professional experience. I fumble in my purse. Put your checkbook away. There's no charge for today's visit. To repay me, listen to your son. And, she says, if you decide to investigate this further, please talk to me. I know of other resources, and I want to stay involved. Your son is an extraordinary individual. So ends the first chapter. In the next, the action shifts to an incident that occurred 4 years before in a church camp hundreds of miles away. And we're off. The Boy in the Water will be released on July 13th.